Good morning and welcome to another video from me. Yes, this is my series on cognitive biases, exploring cognitive biases. Yes, Tristan, you caught me live as I started as well. Good work, man. Thanks for joining me. And thank you to everyone else who's watching. I've got 4 watchers at the moment, 5. Ooh, it's going up. Okay, so this is my series all about cognitive biases. Sounds fancy, right? For those who have been watching the series so far, you already know what this is all about. For those who haven't, it's basically shortcuts that we make in our heads without meaning to and without necessarily being aware of it, which impact our decision making both now and in the future. If you want more information, head to my YouTube channel where you can find the introduction video from where all of this started from. Okay. Today, I'm talking about hyperbolic discounting, but that sounds far too fancy and pretentious, so I'm going to call it current mood bias. There's a few other names for it as well. Current mood bias is very, very simple, and I'm sure you've probably come across it, but let's start off with an example. So let me know in the comments, and if you're watching on the replay, let me know that you're watching on the replay. Tell me where you're watching from and when, and do join in and answer the questions. Morning, Ben. So if I offered you £1,000 right now, today. Come and meet with me later on today and I'll give you £1,000. Not really doing that, by the way. Or you can meet me tomorrow and I'll give you £1,010. Which are you more likely to go for? In fact, not today, but right now. Imagine that I was right there with you, literally with the money in my hand. Are you more likely to accept the money right now in this moment? Or are you more likely to wait, arrange to meet with me tomorrow to grab the £1,010? Thanks, Tristan. So let me know in the comments if you feel like joining in, and I'll explain why I'm asking that question in a moment. But in the meantime, let me explain what hyperbolic discounting is. I'm going to stop calling it that, current moment bias, because it's much easier. So yes, Ben, absolutely. You'd take it right now. You are the perfect example. Thanks for joining in. And that is exactly what this bias is about. We have a natural tendency to want to grab the opportunity that's available to us right now than we are further down the line. And what we do is in our heads, we effectively discount the value. Thank you. Yeah, so Tristan's being the odd one out here. That's no surprise, and saying that he would personally go for the £1,010, unless he has an opportunity to invest it today specifically. And I'm sure if you had that kind of money, Tristan has some great opportunities for how you could invest it. So it would obviously be in marketing. Yeah, so most people would indeed go for the instant reward now, rather than wait for that extra reward. But it's not consistent as time increases. So what we do in our head, we discount the value of the reward, and that could be financial or it could be something else entirely, that we would get further down the road. And the further away that moment is that we would get that reward or value, we perceive the value as being even lower. So Ben's saying, if it was a higher value tomorrow, is it worth the wait, if that makes sense? And that's the thing. We basically assume that it isn't worth the wait. You know, for the difference of £10, well, I've got no money right now, so sod it, I'll take the grand. That's basically the thought process that goes through our head. However, if I said to you, okay, in 365 days, I will give you £1,000. Or in 366 days, I'll give you £1,010. Now, which one are you more likely to go for, Ben? And anyone else that's joining in. Now, I know Tristan's probably going to stick with his original answer, but most people in that situation, in that scenario, would actually opt for the £1,010, because if you're waiting a year already, what's one more day? What we do in our heads is the more that length of time increases before we get our reward or value, then the longer that period of time, the less value we perceive the difference to be. So if we're talking about getting it right now, we want it right now. If we've got to wait, it feels like it's worth less to us. If we've got to wait even longer, it feels like it's worth even less to us. So, there'd probably be a point in time with Tristan, who was brilliantly being the odd one out to help prove the point, and give me something more to talk about. But Tristan would probably get to a point where actually the option's £1,000 now or £1,010 in a year's time. He's probably more likely to take the £1,000 now. Apart from anything else, he knows that he can invest that £1,000 and make more money in the long run. So I'm not sorry, Facebook user, I'm not sure who you are, but my thought process was that I couldn't face the hassle of meeting again the following day. Too much pressure. Is that because you just couldn't stand the idea of seeing me twice in a row? But there's a very good point there. There's that it's readily available right now. You could grab it, take it, walk away with it and have it. But if you wait till tomorrow, there's a chance that it might not work out. What if you missed me? What if I didn't show up? What if, So that all plays a part in why you devalue what's to come. Tristan being quite a positive person, it's quite positive that it's all going to work out. He's very trusting. Fooled. Yes. So effectively, that's what the bias is. But how does this help us? How does understanding this bias help us? Well, yeah, so Tristan's saying he would take £1,000 today, invest it to make more than the £10 over 365 days. Exactly. So how does understanding this help you? Well, as with all biases, understanding it allows you to control for it and make better choices. Now, in that example, you could argue a lot, and different people will have a different opinion based on what scenario does work out better. So let's put it into a context that makes a lot more sense. And here's something that you can really use. Now, a great example of this at play that I've seen time and time again. So although it's not my specialism, I've seen a lot of clients to help them with, they ask if I can help with weight loss. And I make it clear that I'm not interested in helping with weight loss. But what I can help them with is being healthier and getting fitter, which results in weight loss. And one of the things that makes such a huge difference to most people and is really, really important and is a really simple thing to do is meal plan. Now, that doesn't need to be, calorie counting and going into absolute finite details of working out the macros of each meal and all of that sort of stuff. If you want to, and if you love doing that, great, do it. But if that feels like a chore, then you're not going to stick to doing it. But planning what you're going to eat in advance, even if that's just as simply as, I don't know, you go shopping on a Sunday morning, then eat before you go to the shop so you're not shopping hungry for a start, but sit down and think about what meals you're going to want over the week so that you can make healthier choices. If you wait until you're there, then this bias starts to come into play and just grab all the chocolate. Planning for James is huge. I think that's true for everything. You love planning, don't you, James? So if I asked you what's more important to you to become healthier, to get that summer body or whatever it might be, or enjoying a nice piece of chocolate cake, in theory, the answer is going to be, well, actually being healthier. Let's assume we're talking about someone who does think that, at least, to make my example work. You think, well, it's more important to be healthy, or I want to look good for the summer, or whatever it might be. Then in the moment, you're presented with a choice of, do you want a bit of cake? You're far more likely to go, yeah, I'll have a bit of cake, because in the moment, that feels like it has more value because it's right now, as opposed to looking better and feeling better in a couple of months' time as you put the sustained and continued work in. If I don't plan with food, I end up working late and then buying takeaway like I did last night. Yep, you're not alone. And what we do is, I mean, slightly off topic from the bias. Hey, Rory. But what we tend to do in that scenario is we're depleted in energy if we haven't planned and we don't have, we don't know what we're going to get, or we've not got the food in. And when you're depleted in energy, you'll naturally be craving more calorie dense foods, richer foods, basically more junk food, less healthy food. And you're not going to want to put the time and effort in to cook and prepare that food, even if it takes just as long to wait for the delivery to arrive or to go and collect as it would take to make the food. The perception is you want to expend less energy to get a greater reward, because you're tired, you've got no energy. So planning is really important in that sense as well. Anyway, back to the bias. So we're more likely to go, yep, we want our reward right now, than we want that better reward in the future. We're going to see that better reward as being less important if we're focused on it in the moment. But if we're planning in advance what we're going to eat through the week, we can decide, actually, I'm focused on what I want long term. I'm focused on wanting to be fitter, healthier, more energetic, be able to play with the grandkids more, whatever it might be. And so with that, we can make our healthier choices, go out and get the stuff that we need, plan the meals for the week, and then suddenly, when that meal time comes, we don't have a decision to make. We don't trade off the immediate benefit from the long term options and value. Instead, we go, we know that this is what we're planning on eating, and it's going to move us towards our goals, and it's here and it's ready. This is what I'm going to eat. And we kind of question it a lot less. So have a think for yourself about other times when this bias could play a part for you. And by being aware of it, you can take time to focus more on how that reward is going to feel in the long term and what the value of it's really going to be if you imagine that happening sooner. If you imagine that it's happening sooner, it feels more real than if it's off somewhere in the distance. And every single decision and choice that you make, this is especially true for getting healthier and getting fitter and thinner, if that's your goal, every single decision that you make is another step toward or another step away from that goal. And if you think about each decision as if it's having an immediate impact right now, it's much easier to have the more accurate perception of the value that you'll gain from that further down the road. So that is hyperbolic discounting, or current moment bias. In the current moment, you're far more likely to reach for a reward or a thing that gives you immediate perceived value right now than you are to make a sensible decision based on something that's going to come to you in the future. By being aware of that, you can make allowances for that. You can think about what your future goals are. And if you haven't ever done this, take time to really understand what it is that you're moving towards, what's important to you, and how you're going to get there. And then the small decisions along the way are far less likely to sidetrack you because you've got your clear destination in mind. So that's current moment bias. I hope that's been helpful. Thanks everyone for watching. And yeah, if you've got any thoughts of questions of why do we do things this way? Why do we think like that? Then get in touch and I will find a way to include that in either one of my cognitive biases videos, or if it doesn't tie in with a cognitive bias, I'll find a way to answer it anyway. You may want to check out my Facebook group. So just search Facebook for Empower Yourself and Others. There it is, Empower Yourself and Others. If you search for that on Facebook, then you'll find my group. Some of you are probably watching from my group already. Apologies to you guys if you are. But it's an awesome group full of lovely and very supportive people. So if you're looking for somewhere that's positive and supportive on Facebook, yes, such a place exists, then head to my group. And there's loads of content that I put out in there. And if you want even more, then head to relaxclub.online, and there you can get a free trial at the moment, which isn't going to be lasting forever, but you can currently get a week's free trial to enjoy looking after your mental health proactively and positively. Enjoy more mental calmness, some proper quality deep relaxation and time out just for you with hypnosis tracks, live sessions every Wednesday at 8 p.m, pre-recorded tracks available, a morning mindset meditation track that's like 6 minutes long to set you up in the right mindset for the day ahead, and all sorts of other great stuff. So check that out as well on that website there. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next Thursday at the same time. Tristan's just popped the link to my group in the comments as well. He's good. And there's the Relax Club link. Cheers, buddy. I like when you're on my lives. You make my life a lot easier. So yeah, thank you everyone for watching, and do get in touch if there's anything more you want. And I wonder what bias I'm going to talk about next week. Who knows? Look out, and I will be scheduling the post shortly, and then you'll get to see what I'm going to talk about. And ask me any questions. Thanks very much. Have a great day, people. And remember, you are awesome. Just by being here and being a human being means that you have incredible potential. And there will be times when you doubt that. There will be times when you don't feel that way. But you absolutely have as much potential as any other human being. So go and put that potential to work today by doing something, whatever it is, something that you've wanted to do, that you've been holding yourself back from. And if it's a really big thing that you can't do today, decide today when you're going to start doing it. Put it in your calendar when you're going to take that first step, because you are awesome and you can do it. If you're waiting for someone to give you permission to go and do something you want to do and something you love, this is it. This is me giving you permission. Stop that. I'm not even giving you permission. I'm telling you, go and do the thing, because you deserve to do the thing. Don't let your perception of what's important right now get in the way of that long-term thought and goal and the value that will come from going and following your dream. Thanks for watching.